Yeah, let's get on to the Winks news. As apparently, it hasn't happened over the last couple of days. I think the report was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something.
Well, the report was only from today, but it wasn't that the bid was today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Leeds apparently have rejected the chance to sign Harry Winks on loan for this season, which is quite surprising to me because I think Winks would do quite well in a Leeds side.
And that came from the Leeds correspondent to The Athletic.
Yeah.
So it's quite a reliable source. They said Leeds were given the chance to take Winks on loan from Spurs and they rejected the opportunity, which probably shows how low Winks' stock has fallen at the moment. That a team like Leeds, who only came into the Premier League last season, despite obviously playing quite well, they'd rejected the chance to take it up England international at central midfield because I guess, I don't know, maybe they didn't feel he's up to it, or they weren't convinced by him or whatnot. But that is more evidence of how low his stock has fallen, I feel, for Harry Winks, unfortunately for him. And maybe another thing is as well, maybe he didn't want to go there, but I think that it could have been a good move for everyone if he would have taken a year out to go on loan, to go somewhere, and he can have built up his reputation again and start playing consistently and maybe develop a good partnership with someone like Calvin Phillips. That could have been good for him as well. Who do they partner at the moment with Calvin Phillips? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Koch?
Robin Koch. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, there's him and there's other. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember who else they have. But as I was about to say, because I think he would have got into that midfield, is my point. But looks like he's going to be staying for another year. And I think yesterday, I don't know, I saw, it's not necessarily just because he played well. I saw a difference in Winks in terms of, you know, his tackling and his aggression, and how he seemed like he wanted to prove that he wants to be here and actually fight for his place. He seemed like he was fighting yesterday, Winks, as opposed to last week where he just let the game pass him by.
I think though it was a bit different though, because I think he had a lot more help in the middle in this game, and I think last game he was in there on his own. Niall John looked a bit out of his depth, so I think last week was a bit harsh on Winks because he was getting completely overrun in midfield because he was the only one there.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying, like he.
But I get his attitude and mentality on the pitch did seem different.
Some of these tackles he was making, the passing seemed a lot more on point. But forget the passing, just like he seemed sharper. He seemed like he was fighting to get back in the team. He didn't seem like he wanted to let another game pass him by and people to say like, oh, another poor game by Winks. He wanted to show like, I am here to fight for my place. I'm good enough to be in the team, and I want to be in that team. And I'm not saying whether he is or not, but he seemed to give that impression yesterday. So hopefully he can get back to anything sort of his best going into the season, and maybe he can be a valuable player for us in the squad and be a player we can actually use. So maybe we'll have to wait and see, but Leeds rejecting him is telling, I would say, at the moment.
I just can't see him getting regular game time here in the league anyway. I can see him getting regular game time in the Conference League and Carabao Cup maybe, and earlier rounds of the FA Cup, but can you ever see him playing in the Premier League?
I think the thing is, because I think the thing with Skip is that because he's younger, he's got a lot more to prove than Winks, and now he's got the shirt. I can't see Winks, unless he goes through some poor form, I just can't see Winks relinquishing that shirt. The way he works, the way he plays and conducts himself, and the way he literally, the biggest difference between Winks and Skip is not necessarily their on the ball quality, is more that Skip has never been that player to not be a liability in the centre, to like let players run off him and stuff like that. You know, as opposed,
it's his sheer work rate.
Yeah, he's a very defensive player. He's very minded. He's a lot stronger than Winks. He's stronger in the challenge, and he's a lot tougher. And I can't see Skip relinquishing that shirt very easily compared to Harry Winks. And you know, compared, for example, that Man City game. Yeah, there were times where he was getting dribble past and stuff, but he was always there. He was always there being a nuisance. Whereas I feel like sometimes Harry Winks can just go missing in midfield. And I feel like it was Skip, even if he's having a poor game, he's still always going to be there to stand up and be counted. He's always going to kind of give his all and always be a nuisance for the opposition. He's always going to make you work for
your... It's a mentality thing though, isn't it?
And I feel like sometimes Winks, in a difference is there, is like sometimes he can make it easy for the opposition, and especially when he's having a bad game, it makes it a lot easier for the opposition. But even when Skip's having a bad game, he still doesn't make it easy for them, and that's probably the difference.
And that's a mentality thing, isn't it? Because when the going gets hard for Winks, sometimes he just gives up.
Yeah, he
When
goes
the
within
going-
himself.
We haven't seen the going get hard for Skip yet, but it seems as though he's got a proper head on his shoulders.
Yeah, that's
Ollie
what it
Skip.
seems. That's what it seems at the moment, and so that's why I think Skip is the biggest barrier for Winks at the moment this season. But look, what you got to remember, Winks is an England international. He's a few years Skip senior.
He hasn't been in the England international for a while now.
Still is, and maybe if he has to prove why he's an England international, and he has to prove that even though Skip's got the shirt at the moment, he has to win it back off him. And I think it's unlikely, but you never know.
I think Skip's more likely to be called up to England than Winks.
At the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah.